Welcome everybody to our monthly team meeting. Everything has changed in many ways. We are a smaller group. Our president has asked us to keep our social gatherings at 10 or less people. So our team meeting is mainly going virtual to most of our people. And we have a few of us here at team meeting. And we'll start out by talking a little bit. Well, first of all, everyone, happy St. Patrick's Day. So let's go into coronavirus and how that affects us, our market, our business, our lives, our families. I mean, it's kind of a crazy thing, right? But I think the whole purpose of the quarantine and everything is we're trying to just delay this out because we can't overrun the hospitals with everything. And so for us, having 10 people, for us to have our social distancing, we need to respect that so that hopefully we can save lives. I mean, that's the ultimate purpose, is we're trying to save lives.
Flatten the curve.
What else is really contagious that's out there right now?
Fear.
Panic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is just as contagious. I mean, we're not consuming more food, right? But yet people think that we need more food, or they think that things are gonna run out. And so we just need to be realistic with everything that we're doing. And the biggest thing for us is a lot of people right now, and we see this whenever there's a shift, right? I mean, shift's kind of our new big word, is shift. And people stand back and they like to wait out things and see how they work and see how it plays out. And that's really the last thing we want to be able to do. We want to be involved. We want to obey the rules. We want to follow what we need to do. But the last thing we can do in our business, because people still have to move. People still have to buy. I mean, people are in situations, and there are people out there. So the last thing we can do is stop working and wait for this thing to pass. We need to continue moving forward, and we need to continue to do it, but we need to do it different, right? And that's the hard part. And it's been said that we're probably seeing a recession that's starting. I mean, across the street is the theater, temporarily closed. The biggest thing is we just have to get creative. How can we still provide a high level of service, but we just have to find a different way to do it? And that's where we have to do. How can we do it virtually? How can we do it FaceTime showings? How can we change open houses a little bit? How can we make sure we disinfect more? How can we make sure that we, if with an open house, make sure we have people, limit the amount of people that can go in at a time and disinfect while we're there. So that's the main thing that we have to be able to watch. But it's all about models, right? And I'm a model follower, and I love to follow models. Our business was built on models with this book. And this is not the first time we've seen a change in the market, and we've seen pandemonium. And guess what? We have models for that as well. And so this is going to be a big book that we're following, and we're doing everything we can to be able to follow and learn what we need to do to be able to not only survive in a shift, but to thrive in a shift. And so that's what we're going to be teaching, and that's what we're going to be working towards.
One of my favorite things is in a shift, in a downturn, and when things start to kind of slow down and people start to have that panic, it really is an opportunity where professionals have an opportunity to take territory and to grow. Because as they hunker down and they do the activities that need to be done and figure out different ways, as Chad has explained, going about doing things, then it allows the professionals to take territory while everybody else is taking that huge step back where you're stepping into it.
And that's a huge point, because if you look at some of the top real estate groups and teams in the country right now, most of them got their start when the recession started in 2008. And they didn't know anything different. They just said, hey, I need to work hard, and I need to figure this out. And so they figured it out just because they didn't know anything different. And so the opportunity is still there. And I think a lot of times people think, man, the market's crashed, things are over. Well, in real estate, our market never goes to zero. Okay, we need to remember that. In all of the years of the whole recession, we never had a year that went down less than 35% in volume, which that's a pretty substantial year, and that was in 2008. But in 2009, 2010, 11, 12, it was all within 4 to 10% drop down and drop up. And so basically the market never stops, but people think that it stops. And it is going to stop if you do things the same way that you did it before, because those things might not work anymore. But for those that figure out a new way to do it and to adapt, there's opportunity, right? And so we don't want to just survive, we want to be able to thrive.
So I thought it was interesting that Gary Keller talked yesterday that he got into real estate in the 80s when the interest rates were 15 to 18%.
Yeah.
And how when he got in, he just went to work in the tactics knowing the market it was. He didn't have to adjust his tactics because he just started the tactics saying this is what the market is. And so we have to just do that. And so everyone else that had been in it had to try to figure out how to change. And so there's that people that come in the market during a down market, they just deal with what it is and they don't have to adjust. We as people who've been in the market, we have to go, what do we have to do if we were coming in today? What would we do to find business? And we have to change because it's going to be different than what we did before.
Exactly.
And it's hard to change. And that's why you see so many people thrive in a market and so many people dive in a market.
Yeah.
Is, are you willing to change and adapt your tactics to what we are currently in?
It doesn't matter what business it is. Businesses that adapt with a changing market always gain a lot of market share, and they usually never lose it.
So it's interesting. They also talked to think about that works the same with buyers and sellers. If buyers and sellers crunch down and say, I'm not going to buy or I'm not going to sell because the market is shaky, they miss opportunities where they look back in 10 years ago, holy cow, I wish I would have during a down market bought so that I'm ahead in the end. But everybody worries and they clamp down, and the investors and the savvy people, they go, ooh, this is our chance to take advantage of people being nervous, get in low, and we hold, So we as professionals have to look back and go, how are we going to encourage the buyers and sellers to go, it is not a time not to buy or sell. This is the best time. And rates, they're killing it.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing is, in the past when we've had economic turmoil, the government's come in and they've helped do things to instill confidence and to raise the market, and they've already done that. We're seeing rates, we'll talk about that, but rates are, they're crazy low, and the ability to go even lower. Brian.
Is now a good time to sell and buy? Well, as far as we know, yeah, absolutely. The interest rates right now are just, they keep going down. And that essentially means everyone's getting a discount on a home, not at the seller's expense or the buyer's expense, right? So
that's a great
you are getting a cheaper home, getting better value by buying and selling right now.
That's awesome. And can I say something about buyers on the side? I'm currently having buyers come to me saying, hey, I want to put things on hold and wait this out. If you think about it though, if I've had multiple buyers already say that to me, that means there's going to be other buyers coming in the market and there's less competition for them when it comes to multiple offer situations and getting the houses that they want.
Yeah.
And so if you're thinking about backing out of the market to not buying and waiting till everybody else decides to get back in the market to buy again, then now you're competing with everybody else once again, when you can avoid that competition and buy right now.
Yeah, right now it's out there. And that being said, we are seeing some people that are changing things a little bit, but the overwhelming majority of the feedback we're getting from the sellers and the buyers right now is they're not changing their habits that much. It's the conversation that we all have, but still they're saying, let's go look at houses. Let's write an offer. Let's get our house listed. So locally in our market in Southeast Idaho, we're not seeing things just stop. Who knows what next week's going to bring, but if it stops, a lot of times we might be the ones that bring it up and assume they don't want to do something. But when we're allowing them to tell us what they want to do, they're saying, yeah, let's keep going.
Well, Gary said a great point. People still have to move. When interest rates were 18 to 20%, people still had to move and change jobs and sales, and there were deaths and divorce and job changes. That still has to happen. So there are buyers still going to be there, and it's still going to be there. And so the idea that things are not going to ever happen, that's saying life is going to stop, and it won't.
Yeah. And we don't think this is going to end quickly. This could be a few months. And so there's going to be some changes. And there's over 800 real estate agents in our multiple listing service. And right now we're all on a level playing field. We all are moving forward. And so we're not competing one against 800. We're competing against one that's also going to be working hard and finding a way to be creative and make things work. So that might be really 1 out of 30, 1 out of 50. 1 out of 60. I don't know, but whoever's watching this and decides they're going to work, they're going to be one of the people that's with us. It's going to be working really hard to try to adapt and not sit back on the sidelines, because that's the key.
Well, they also have a super interesting time for this to happen. Is we're also in a different time of any other recession because our technology is so advanced. I mean, at this point, there are people buying houses already that never look at the house until they show up to close, because our virtual tours and our things are so extensive.
Yeah, and we're not going to stop doing it.
And we're just going to kick that up a notch, because we totally have the capability as agents to take that technology to people. And you can do virtual listing presentations. You can do virtual showings. You'll see our home movies get even more robust, and you'll see even more of our home movies. And that will happen. All you can do is need to step in the house and smell it, and then you're ready to buy.
And we've all heard talks that is going to be the future. So maybe now we're going to start doing more virtual showings, more virtual listing presentations. And maybe people don't want that ever to, they don't want the in-person anymore.
Yeah.
So that might be a new normal for us.
We may hear sellers that say, hey, you know what? As soon as you have an accepted offer, I'll let you in the house. But I'm not just going to let anybody walk through our house. Watch the virtual showing, watch the home movie, do all those things, and then we'll negotiate. And then once I know you want to buy it, then I'll let you in the house.
Yeah.
That could absolutely happen.
Yep.
There's multiple listings that are already like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's definitely.
And I mean, and think about it. Is it that terrible? If we have a great home movie and you get a walk through, and luckily our home movies, we walk through with an agent and you get to see it with an agent, is it really that scary to move into that situation? Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Because you can drive by the neighborhood and never get out. You can research all the things. You can see inside the house. You can look at the yard.
Yep.
You can do all of that without ever entering on somebody's house. And then we walk you through the house on the video. What else is there left to do? Have the inspector go in and go in an inspection.
So recap what we need to be able to do. So the number one thing for us is we need to put our health first and the health of others, okay? So we do not want to break these rules, because if we break these rules, we're putting the lives of other people in jeopardy, especially those with health conditions, and who knows, how someone might respond to it. So we need to make sure we follow the rules, we do our social distancing, and you're doing everything we can to disinfect, which we'll be doing that at our office as people come in and go out. And we have some sign-up sheets that Sheila and Alex are doing so that we can just do that. When there's meetings, we'll wipe down the conference tables, we'll wipe down whatever we need to wipe down, just so it's always clean and ready to go.
Maybe a good idea to carry some hand sanitizer with you.
Yeah.
When someone comes in an office,
If
welcome
someone
to our
has any.
office. Please sanitize your hands.
Yes. Another thing is we need to double down on education. We need to study whatever we can about not only the market and how things are shifting and how we can be the most effective, which we did send out some scripts today to the agents for working with buyers and working with sellers, and some common things that we want you to be able to bring up when you're asked these questions. So read that and look over that. The other thing is we need to study and educate about ourselves, because again, this virus is very contagious, but what's also very contagious?
Fear.
The fear and the panic. And so we need to learn about ourselves, and we need to be able to study that out and to figure out what we need to do and how we can control our thoughts to have it build us up and not take us down. And we can study about the market, which we're going to be able to do. But those that are the most accountable are the ones that are going to be the most successful right now. And so we've had a really good market where we've been able to maybe fudge a little bit on some of the things that maybe we should have done before. And that's just on our personal things that we need to do. But again, moving forward, the people that are going to win through this are going to be the people that are most accountable. And that's accountable to their lead generation, to their time blocking, to their schedules, and just making sure that they're always looking forward and not just living on the things that have to happen today. Okay.
It's a great time to reach out. Number one, check in on your database. Check in on them. A phone call right now to everybody in your database, and just looking at that, and especially because rates are great, but also just checking in, making sure if we have resources, education, knowing the resources of what's available in our communities for people to utilize. If you don't know where to buy toilet paper, that would be something probably, if you make some calls, would be a great thing to know.
Yeah.
That's really brilliant. A good chance to
Yeah.
check in.
Yeah, good chance just to check in on them. And we should, and today we're going to put together some resources and send out. Have some information for your people and say, we're here to help. We are your community resource. Send us out. Let us know what we need.
Exactly. One last thing that we want to cover is it's also a time for us to analyze our personal expenses. A lot of us are self-employed, we're independent contractors, and we need to be able to analyze. We're going to do that as a business, and we need to do anyway. Just what are the things that are most important, and what are the things that aren't. It's the same thing with our personal lives. Look at what we're spending and make sure that we're financially prepared. Work for the best, plan for the worst sometimes, and just make sure that we're ready, but we're going to do everything we can to make sure we're going to take advantage of it. Gary Keller said the first dollar we make is the dollar that we stop spending. And so if we want to make more money today, maybe the easiest way is just to cut some expenses, because that'll be the first dollar we make, okay? So,
and as I've mentioned this, I also have been seeing a lot on social media. If you're thinking about it, we have to think about our others. If we think about a community experience. Also, if you're going to go out and shop, why not think about a local business? Why don't adjust and go to a smaller local business and look at their supply and try to take a look at that instead of going to the gas station, on the corner that is not a local. Maybe you hit that local gas station.
Yeah.
And you think about us all supporting each other, because that is feeding our local families as well. Not that the big chains are not, but at the same time, they're going to have different reserves than our local companies. It's a great time to explore your local businesses and hashtag be a downtowner.
Be a downtowner.
That's right,
Sure, yeah.
Well, and there's so many businesses. I feel bad. What can we do? I mean, that's things that we need to be brainstorming too, because so many businesses that are going to be affected. I mean, real estate's being affected somewhat, but there's some businesses that are closed down. Right. I mean,
the
that's
movie theaters, the deck,
The coffee shops.
the coffee shops.
Just
That's
yesterday.
scary.
Hey.
So what can we do to help with that?
Don't talk about
And
coffee.
hey, and also think about this, you guys. As we look at this, do you know the grocery stores that deliver? Maybe you have a high-risk clientele. Which grocery stores deliver? Brolem's will deliver to their house. Do they know that? Do your clients know that they can order? And could we help them know that and then how easy that could possibly be? I'm sure Brolem's will start to get a little overwhelmed in that idea, but at the same time, those are things we should know. What local businesses deliver?
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So what looks like our darkest moments can come out as our finest moments. Gary Keller said that yesterday. And this is not the end of anything. It's the beginning of something new. Okay? And so we have to look at it that way. We went through 2008 and the whole recession that we had before. And as I look back, I learned more in the hard times than I ever did in the easier times. And so they can be the finest moments. And our group was established in, the downtime. And basically, when I decided to go and start a group, I saw a niche of people that needed help, and I knew that I had the ability to help them, and that was through short sales. And so we went out and we became the leader in short sales in this area. And so there's always opportunity, right? And so we just need to take advantage of it.
There's
And
a
our
great-
vision. Oh, go ahead.
There's a great saying I'm going to throw in. Calm seas never made great captains.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hashtag the whole thing.
The whole thing.
He's refusing
So
to do that.
interesting also about that is in the shifting market last time, it was becoming short sales and things. We're not going to see people crashing, not be able to pay their mortgages, except for if we don't, if businesses don't support. We may see that. At the same time, we may just see where our chances to step up in technology. We're going to have to step into technology at full force, and I think we've been preparing for this for quite a while. How deep can we step into technology and not lose any level of service or personal interaction? We have to go deep into technology to do that.
Yeah. Going back to a sea analogy, this is one of my favorite analogies that I use more personally, but it can be used anyway. The rule of the high sea, if the waves are crashing, the rule of the high sea is you go to the center of the boat. You don't jump off the boat and think you can do better swimming on your own. When people panic, they do stuff like that. We have to go to the center. So for us, the center is health. It's being purposeful, it's lead gen, it's being accountable, and it's making sure we put in the effort every day. And if we do that, we know we're going to be totally great, and I commit we're going to do that. I canceled my spring break trip because we want to make sure this isn't a time for vacation. And so I'm going to stay here, and we're going to keep our nose to the grind, and we're going to make sure we hit this full running and take advantage of the market.
So if you didn't see today on Facebook, I posted that there is a studio that is going to do their first run releases that you can purchase. So the new Trolls movie that's going to come out, they're going to let you purchase it, not purchase it, but they're going to rent it for 48 hours for $20. I mean, those are great adaptations of how we can get in, and they may make more money than they ever saw.
Yeah.
Because families can stay home and watch it.
Take advantage of your downtime.
Yeah.
I mean, we were supposed to go to Logan this last weekend, dance competition. We had 4 basketball games on Saturday. Sundays are usually full of like church stuff that we're doing. It was like, wow, I got so much done. I wrote down a long old list and got a lot done. And so try to take advantage of your family time. So
And great resource of maybe this is the time to work on your house. Maybe this is the time to repaint. Maybe this is the time to do those things. Why not?
Sure.
But
Grow
we're
the
gonna-
value of your house in the downtime.
Yep. But we're gonna make this happen, and we're gonna make this one of our finest moments. So, okay, let's go into stats. How are we doing? We were able to help 29 families buy homes last month.
Yeah.
There's a lot of online clapping, by the way.
Yes,
Yeah.
online clapping. Yeah, less people here today, which we're glad people could be
Yeah.
joining in on Zoom. So clients needed in March, 68. That's our goal. Because our goal for 2020 is
750.
750.
750. February stats. So what we're doing this month is we are actually combining the stats from Bonneville County, Bingham County, and Jefferson County. So we're actually merging all those stats together to kind of give us a little taste of what it does with those included in the stats. And that's single family homes, condos, manufactured with land.
Is that also multifamily properties in there as well?
I don't think so.
I just marked, when I did the search, I just
Yeah.
marked the duplexes and the triplexes.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
Oh, you
So
did?
I did
Okay.
mark duplex and triplex.
Okay, got it.
So we'll change our numbers a little bit based off of different price points and stuff, but
Right.
it'll
Yeah.
still be super helpful.
Right.
Yep.
Good.
I tried to give a better whole overview.
Of
the whole
Of the
market
whole
as a
market.
whole.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, homes sold in 2019, we had 167. In 2020, in February, we had 157 for the whole area. So we had a little bit of a decrease in home sales. What does that mean over 1 month? It doesn't mean anything other than sales were down by 10 units. If it continues to happen, then it does mean something. But this was all pre-coronavirus. So, and this happens. We go up and down every so often. What we look for is the trends that happen over time, right? Currently on the market, this morning it was at 263, and now it's at 258. So we're seeing it. I mean, we had a bunch of homes that went under contract today, so they're off the market. So we're seeing that change. But that is low inventory. I mean, that's from Blackfoot all the way to Manan.
Yeah.
Only 258 properties on the market. Absorption rate, 1.67. That's still low for all areas, right?
That's
of
up,
course,
though.
it's an average, so it doesn't mean it's in every price range. But a 1.67 absorption rate means it is a what type of market in general?
Still sellers.
Seller's market.
And a okay seller's market or a strong seller's
Fantastic.
Strong.
Strong sellers.
fantastic seller's market right now. So, and I can't imagine, I mean, that's the crazy thing is if we do see some decrease in activity, which we probably will in sales with this virus, I mean, inventory means it will go lower. And so there'll be some pent up demand that it'll be interesting. I mean, this is weird.
It's
stuff.
going to be super
So,
weird in the idea that if sellers say, hey, I don't want to move, we already are so tight and rates are so good, buyers want to buy. Because, I mean, they want to take advantage. And if we tighten even further, I mean, that is, who knows what's going to happen in that.
it's
That's
crazy.
where you think about the shift. What happens when we're at below one or 0 months?
And we know we're due for a shift. We know we're due for a cycle. We just didn't anticipate it in this way. So, okay, so current inventory levels. This is basically how many homes are currently for sale in every one of these price ranges. So under 100,000 basically doesn't even exist. I mean, there are not many there at all.
This is bonkers because remember, we expanded this. This is
yeah,
all counties that are in our vicinity. I mean, it is.
yeah. So
Bananas.
the days of having a home under 100,000 are pretty much over, and not going back to that as of now. So you can just kind of see here. I mean, we have the most amount of homes between $200,000 and $400,000, which is kind of where our average sales price is. So that's our strongest inventory level. Average price continually going up considerably. So the average price in 2019 was just a little under $212,000, and now in 2020 it's just barely
Wasn't
under.
it at 248 last month?
Yeah, it
That was
totally
Bonneville County.
That was,
Oh,
yep.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
we've
Bonneville
expanded per this. Yep.
Yeah, we expanded, so it's a little bit different.
Okay.
We want to do things a little bit different this month.
Yeah.
And so we're under a little bit of 260. We see Jefferson County, they have some pretty high price points, so that's taking us up a little bit.
We expanded a little bit because I think people are expanding. They're opening their minds to being a little bit further away to try to get a little more opportunity to see more properties. Maybe they wouldn't have considered Shelley before, and maybe they're considering it. Maybe Rigby wasn't in the picture, and now it is.
Yep. So that's up 22% from last year. As far as the median price, 2019 it was 200, 2020 220. Median, you take out the low and the high, and then you average them together.
So in this, what's interesting, if you think back to the inventory slide, there's a lot of inventory at the top. And so I thought this difference of median versus the average was a big significant difference, and the increase was different.
Yeah.
And so, because I think we're seeing some properties coming on the market, and that will happen. A luxury market will be affected in a shift.
Yeah.
More will sit on the market. People can't afford a second home, so you may see more high-end enter the market in a shift.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
And the high market is a buyer's market anyway.
Yeah.
Up above 750,000.
Yeah.
So, okay, average days on market, we're up just a little bit from 49 to 51, which is similar to Bonneville County. That didn't change very much when we added in the other counties. Okay, here's what's crazy. So interest rates as of this morning, conventional 3.375%. On a government loan, 3.125. So we're seeing a 1% decrease in rate. Okay,
That's okay. Is that a percent?
that's
Yeah.
1%. They were 4.375.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, these are stats.
So I
from
didn't
Idaho
put a
First.
percent because I didn't want a percentage. It's 1 point lower.
That's what I
not
was
a-
trying to
What
clarify.
percentage
Yeah, 1
difference
point,
it was?
yes.
It was 1 point lower.
Okay. 1 point.
Not
One
a percent.
One a
of
percentage
change.
point lower,
Yeah.
not a percentage.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. I struggled
Got
with
it.
that this morning, going,
Yeah.
how do we?
How do we word that?
So
Because it was like 20%, but it was 1 percentage
Sure.
point.
So I have a question for
Yeah.
you guys. So we saw the Fed, they dropped the interest rates, right? Now I have a lot of buyers that are thinking that their interest rate on a mortgage is now 0%. So how does that affect the buyers? Did their interest rate
Yeah.
on mortgages drop to 0%?
They have the right to now drop it even lower, but there's a yield. So that's what the government set the rate at, but then there's a yield on top of that the lenders basically make. That's their margin. And so that goes above that. So will we see interest rates at 0? I mean, I don't think so. But I mean, we're seeing them about as low as they can possibly
So who got
go.
the 0% interest rate?
Well, no one. The government is now lending at 0%.
So
Which means they're lending to the banks.
The banks are getting a 0% interest
Correct.
rate. Then if the banks want to decide to lower their rates to us on the mortgage side, they can do that. But it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get a drop in our interest rates.
we
So,
can
yeah,
we can see they have the ability now to drop them even lower because their rate is lower. So what it does, we saw back during the recession, rates, they would drop them down considerably, but those drops would not be reflected in mortgage rates because the banks chose not to drop those at the same time.
So also
it gives them the
to
right.
point out is mortgages are backed by mortgage-backed securities, which is actually the bond market.
Yeah.
So when you see what's going to affect mortgage rates, we're watching the mortgage-backed bonds is what will affect. Now, will the banks take and invest more money and give more money so people go into bonds? Especially, you see more in bonds when the stock market is shaky. So if the stock market is shaky, people take out of a high return and go into more secure, which is a mortgage-backed bond. It's a lower yield, but a higher or a better security. So in that, with our shifting economy and the stocks, we may see more influx into the bond market. And so that should drop our rates. But the Fed rate just means people can borrow money the big borrowers can borrow at a lower rate. Will they borrow and invest in the bonds? Will they do that? That's what really comes into affecting our rates rather than the Fed just lowering the interest rate to banks.
Yeah, it's wild. And I mean, right now, a lot of people are refinancing as well. Anybody that's
So-
4.5 or above.
So let's mention that. What do you guys see? Has anybody seen any change in closings? Because that always affects purchase. Is if there's a flood of refinance and overwhelms the lenders, how does that affect timing on a purchase? Do we have to adjust that?
I mean, I'm not seeing anything that's going much further, but Brian, what are you seeing?
I mean, I refinanced, and the guy that I refinanced with, he said, well, it's going to be about 60 days to do this because we're putting priority to the people that are buying homes right now, and he's just overwhelmed and working crazy hours. So I'm
Yeah.
sure it's going to
Oh,
have
yeah.
at least a little bit of an impact.
So yeah, that could be one of the things. And it's basically, and all this is meant to stimulate and give confidence to a consumer to continue to refinance, to spend money, to buy a home, refinance our current homes, which frees up cash flows. And so it's a great tool for us to have. You have people who said, man, I should have bought last year because prices are so much higher. Well, this can offset a lot of that by having a whole point or percentage lower from 4.375 to 3.375.
So in that also, there's a couple of ways that homeowners can take advantage of those rates. in that aspect is you can take advantage of a rate by saying, I'm going to go in and I'm going to refinance to a 30-year at the lowest rate and make my payment as small as possible. So as we talk about cutting expenses and weathering a storm, you get that fixed payment as low as possible. And that way you have a little bit where you don't have to worry about that. Or if you're saying, listen, I feel pretty good in my financial position, maybe I take advantage and I go to a 15-year or a 10-year because rates are so low, my payment won't adjust that much and I'm still pretty comfortable in it. And you can now take advantage of going to a 15-year or a 10-year and get ahead that way.
Yeah.
So how does a 1-point decrease from 2019 affect my buying power as a buyer? What does that do for me?
Really good question. What do you guys say to buyers?
Yeah, so 1% decrease in a rate, right, gives you 10% more in buying power. So, I mean, essentially, you know, last year was a 4.375, this year's a 3.375. So your $300,000 house, you can now afford a $330,000 house. So, I mean, 10%, I mean, whatever way you look at that, it's going to be a 10% discount on a house, right? Either you can buy a cheaper house with the same payment, or you can have the same payment and buy a more expensive home that fits your family's needs better. It just depends on how you look at that.
Right, and it's kind of almost where people are talking, oh, I wish I bought when the prices were lower.
Yep.
You know, a year ago, well, it's gone up 10%, say in 6 months. Well, now you're getting that decrease of 10%. So, I mean, you take advantage of 2019 prices, right?
Yep.
And it's again,
For
we
sure.
look back, right? And we say, I wish I would have bought
Yeah.
when I could get 3.125 on my rate. You know, because we don't know. We don't know what will happen in the event. In a shifted market, you don't know what that change will be. So everyone goes, I wish I would have taken advantage. This is an easy way to take advantage, and it doesn't cost you more to take advantage of it.
Right.
When a lot of times, if you want to go and buy stocks when they're low, you've got to come up with the funds to buy the stocks in a down economy. Here, it literally doesn't cost you anything to take advantage of the market. You just got to be not afraid and get out there and take advantage. Which is a great time to buy.
It's a great time to buy. Great time to buy.
Great time to sell and buy up.
Oh, for sure.
So bottom line is we're ready, we're working, we're not slowing down. We are going to make it accommodating to people. I mean, we even had someone this morning share that someone from Seattle's been wanting to move here, and they called up and said, hey, I can't do as much here in Washington, so I'm coming down this weekend and I want to buy. And so we're seeing some opportunity there. We just have to be ready for the people that are wanting to do something. We're going to be ready, we're going to adjust, we're going to make it easy, we're going to do everything we can to make people healthy and not be at risk. And we'll see what the future holds. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Austin.
I mean, generally speaking, I mean, this probably will affect us. It's going to, right? Now, I don't feel like personally that, you know, the calls we're getting and things that are happening, we haven't seen anything that's super different, to be honest. I mean, right now, if you're a seller and you're thinking about not selling, man, why? I mean, sell your home. If you can't get what you're asking for, you don't have to sell it, right? You're not obligated to sell it for less than what you're asking for. But I mean, we still have buyers that, like Chad said, are coming in out of state to look at homes. I still have the buyers that I'm currently working with still calling, wanting to look at homes. We just wrote an offer yesterday. I mean, buyers are still buying homes. So if you're a seller, don't hesitate to sell your home right now. It's still a great time to sell. And, you know, prices haven't dipped. They're still holding strong. So we need
Idaho is a great
keep that
place
in
to
mind.
practice social distancing. We have more land than pretty much anybody else besides Montana.
That's right. Yep. If you want a social distance.
If you want a social distance, we have a great property in Hamer coming up.
We do.
we have big lots.
Big
Yeah.
lots. Everyone likes big lots.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny and nobody laughed.
I'm silently laughing over here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be here all week.
You don't have a hashtag for it.
Hashtag big lots. I like big lots.
Yeah.
I cannot lie.
Oh, we're going downhill
Is that where we're
fast.
going?
Yeah,
Yep, there it is.
it went there.
Okay. Anything else we want to cover?
So
mean,
I
that's
do
what
want
the
to talk
market's
about
saying.
something
Yeah.
in this. If you're a seller and you're thinking about that, make sure as you're interviewing agents and as you guys talk to your sellers and your people, if they're interviewing agents to sell, what are their technological offerings? What do you do to help keep us safe if we are going to sell? What are available? And we really have to talk about our virtual tours and our home movies and our high quality pictures and how that we are so big on social media. We have to talk about that because as people interview agents and they pick, that's now going to be a value proposition. And we've been doing that for a long time. Mm-hmm. So that is huge for us, is that we can really do a really great job letting people see your home at a high level without having to have a lot of people through it.
So I have a question. So I heard the word recession a couple times.
Yeah.
Are we going back to 2008 all over again?
I mean, nobody knows the answer to that. I mean, we anticipate we'll see some things slow down. And I mean, what's going to be the effect of the movie theater being closed? What's going to be the effect of all these changes? I mean, that'll play into effect somehow, but I mean, nobody knows. I mean, is this going to be a big deal in 2 months, 3 months, 9 months? I mean, we don't know. I mean, amazingly, they already yesterday they did a human vaccination test. You know, so I mean, that's in how much time did they have? So
I think they said it was
we
a
don't-
record.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, it's a
amazing.
total record. And so science is going big, but we don't know the answer to that. All we know is we need to be safe. We need to take advantage of the opportunity. We need to be accountable. We need to check our expenses, limit our expenses, cut expenses, and we need to work smart. And we know through history that we'll be fine if we do those things.
Shift
So
happens.
shift happens.
Hashtag.
Hashtag.
Shift.
You know, I just looked up on Google definition of recession, right? It's a period of temporary economic decline during which trade and industry activity are reduced.
Okay.
So to what degree? I mean, it's hard to say, right? Recession is just, you know, activities are going to be reduced for how long? Who
2
knows,
months, 6
right?
months.
2 months.
So
2
with that
weeks, 3
definition,
months, I
we
mean,
are
it's-
definitely in a recession.
We're in a recession, right?
And it's a
So
global recession.
Totally.
I mean, it's,
activity is definitely reduced. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no question about
This
it.
will be an interesting thing to see how it affects us as this is a global scale. In 2008,
Yeah.
it was very much a United States scale. We crashed our own markets by overactive lending and lending practices. Here it's different. I mean, we're being affected by, everyone's affected differently, but it's everyone. And so how will that affect us? We don't know. Have we been in that situation before besides a war? You know, but this is a little bit more of we work together than apart. So how will that affect us?
yeah, it's worldwide.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
never, it's crazy. I mean, when our market, during our recession, Brazil, for example, was thriving.
Yeah.
I mean, they had an incredible real estate market. Right now, Brazil's going through the same stuff we are.
Right.
And so,
Interesting.
Yep,
All you can do is change your tactics, keep watching, and keep adapting,
For sure.
yep.
And not
And be
fear.
realistic.
and not be fearful.
Yeah.
Study, you know, educate ourselves on our mind and how our mind works and on the market and statistics and how we can be better and try to be creative. What can we do to do things different? Because whoever figures out how to do it different is going to win. And we're a pretty creative bunch, so we're going to figure it out. And I think we already are.
Yeah. I'm excited to see. I think we'll be seeing more virtual open houses.
Yeah.
And I'm excited if you want to follow our Facebook page. Of course, anybody that's watching this. But at the same time, you're going to see more activity from our buyers agents. It's just going to be different.
Jess, where do we go to see the virtual housing showings that we've already done? Is that on our Facebook
That's
page?
all. That's everywhere. So we're on every social media platform. If you want to look at the home tours on YouTube, we've got
Yeah.
them there. If you want to go, we have property videos. Is a playlist.
How do they find it on YouTube?
on YouTube, if they search Murdoch Manwaring Company, it's MMC Homes on YouTube. Also, we're on Twitter, we're on, those things, but really in essence, Google My Business, we're there. But if you look at we have playlists of the homes, and I think you'll see us, we're gonna kick that up. And there'll be a lot of fun a lot of fun things to see those houses.
You can call us, because if you can't find it and you want a property specifically, call us and we'll make one.
Yeah. And that's the neat thing too, is and people can say, hey, I wanna go see this house. You guys can easy run out and do a Facebook Live.
All right.
Oh, so Nicole just mentioned from online, she said she's showing a property to client online tonight.
Yeah.
I actually this afternoon I'm doing a FaceTime walkthrough with
Yep.
an out-of-state buyer. So yeah.
So maybe we might even encourage at that point, maybe we switch out from FaceTime and just do it live on social media so we could add that to the library. So in this, as we do in monthly, we've got some success stories. Does anybody have a buyer that they had a success story with?
I do.
Casey, what do you got?
So I had a buyer who was technically is still in a lease until August, but with interest rates being so low, I just texted him and told him, like, you need to buy now, and we are pending. So
Wow.
So he took the leap of paying the fee to take advantage of the market.
yeah, and his fee was only $800. So
Which
I'll
over
save
30
way
years?
more than that. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
exactly. Over the course of 30 years, you're going to save a lot when your interest rates are a lot lower.
Well,
So-
his payment's lower than his rent payment.
Yep.
So
Oh yeah, his payment's a lot lower. So
Yeah.
and he's getting a brand new home. So
Wow.
he's excited.
Pretty awesome.
Cool.
He's super excited.
So there are options.
Yes, definitely.
Perfect. Do we have any other success? What about seller success story?
I've got one.
What do you got?
So, yeah, we had a really cute home over in Iona that, everything we do is to bring multiple offers, right? And so we did our just our Facebook posts, everything like that. We did our virtual walkthrough, our home movie, and they went crazy and they shared it. They shared it and their friends shared it and their family shared it, and by the end there was 20 shares. And what it ended up doing for us was it had tons and tons of exposure. So we had, I don't know, 15 people at the open house, which is huge. I mean, way bigger. Our expectations are 2 to 4. And by the end of it all, we had multiple offers and they got the best price available and they're super duper happy. So just simply that social media blitz, right? I mean, that can make the big difference.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. Anybody else have any stories of win with a buyer or seller?
I've got a great story
Oh, nice.
I'd like to share.
Wait a minute. Where did?
Hey,
Hey. Oh.
Kurt's just been hiding out.
magic, Photoshop,
Yeah, I
right?
don't recognize him.
Real estate's a rewarding industry regardless. And you always feel like, you're helping somebody find a good house or you're helping somebody sell their house. But every once in a while, it's even a little more special. One of my clients called. It was a referral from my sister. And this family has a daughter that has special needs. And she has seizures and she has really limited mobility. And they were looking for a very specific property. And one of those things like, at first you're like, this is going to be really hard to find. And how are we going to put this together? Well, it was interesting. So the mom of this daughter that has the special needs called me, and I got her in touch with a great lender. Lo and behold, you guys, if you're a caregiver or a family member and you have a sibling or a spouse or a parent that has special needs, you can actually do second home. You can actually buy a property local and basically treat it like a first-time residence. So like 5% down. They have great programs I knew nothing about until we started researching this program for them. So it put them in a position where they're able to purchase a home instead of having to have 20% down or 25% down as an investment property. They were actually able to buy it with 5% down. Wow. So huge blessing right there. So something that I didn't ever even know about. They wanted a condo or a townhome, so she didn't have to worry about lawn care and upkeep and things like that. And really specific, they were hoping to have a couple of extra beds so they could rent out some of those other rooms to other individuals that had similar needs and wants. And in an area that was really central so they could get to certain places in Idaho Falls. It was kind of close to their house as well. And so my client was leaving town on a business trip, and I thought I had set her up on an email trip, but for some reason I had typed in her one digit wrong on her email address. So she wasn't getting the email. So she had called me out of the blue, and I said, yeah, are you not getting those emails I sent you? And she said, no. And I said, well, there's 2 townhouses that I think would be perfect for you guys. And, they're still on the market. Let's go look at them before you leave town. We walked in, the perfect fit. The family that had been there previously also had a special needs daughter. They had converted the bathroom for handicap accessibility. The house was laid out perfectly for what they were looking for. It's like just one of those things when you walk in, you just know this is the place that they are supposed to be. It's got me just kind of really crazy. So we looked at it. She got her husband in there, the daughter. And interestingly enough, we put the offer together, and I said, let's start a little bit lower on price and just see if we can't get you guys a little discount on this deal. And I said, it's not very typical that you'll get a price reduction on a property like this, but let's give it a shot. No offers yet, and I'll make a good connection with the listing agent. But do me a favor and write a letter about your daughter and what her needs are and why you're buying this property, and we'll present that with the offer. Sent in the offer, sent in the letter, got the most amazing phone call from the listing agent. He said, you're never going to believe the situation that this family that is selling the property, they read that letter and basically they just sat there and cried. They had their daughter in there for many years that was had special needs, and they just related to this new buyer and their situation and what they needed, and accepted the offer and said, whatever we can do to make this a fit for you guys and your family, we want to do whatever we can to make it work. So amazing story that, you know, you always have the opportunity and it feels great to help people. But every once in a while, you just see that blessing come into somebody's lives that on a normal basis would just never happen. So that's my story that I want to
See great people.
It's phenomenal.
Great people doing
Phenomenal.
great things.
Hashtag real estate. Real estate is real. Real estate.
Whatever you want to hashtag.
Whatever it
you
is.
just hashtag it and then put something on the end.
That's awesome. That's a clapper.
Yeah.
That's a clapper. That is phenomenal. Thanks for sharing that, Trent.
Elise, did you have something too?
Here at the Murdoch Man-Wearing team, we are big on the concept of local business and supporting the local economy. And we've got our Nosy Neighbor segment that we run, and we like to highlight local business. But we were excited to meet Anna at LaBelle Design Studio at the Bridal Fair this spring. And she was able to provide us with some beautiful gifts that we use as closing gifts, something we were already buying anyway, but now we had the opportunity to buy local, and so it was a great fit for us, and she has done a good job for us. But then the time was right, and it was time for her to sell her house, and we already had that relationship built, and she had that trust in us as a team. And so right now we have listed Anna's house on the market, and it's a beautiful home, and we're excited to have that win and be able to help Anna out in that way as well. So it's a good win for us and for Anna.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Speaking of that, speaking of going right on to that perfect segue from Elise, talking about the Nosy Neighbors and who we visited, what local businesses we visited this past month, we had some really awesome things, and Elise and I went to them. Did I talk about Baker's Dozen last time and how they do only spud nuts?
Yes.
Like everyone thinks that they have their donuts, but actually all spud nuts. So that was really awesome. Staker Floral took us through and showed how, they were talking about Valentine's Day, and it was beautiful to see. Blue Phoenix Branding is a local branding company that you can get all of your promotional items, and they help you come up with logos if you need that help. The Fertility Clinic is the new building on the corner of Sunnyside and Rolandette, and they are super awesome and have some really neat things about them. I didn't know we had a writing school here locally. Parkwood Writing School is a phenomenal place, and you could just go and start taking writing lessons, horseback riding lessons. Lynn's Shaky Razor was awesome, and we saw a little celebrity, and we saw our own Brian get his beard trimmed up, and they were super fun to get it. And then Tile Trends. I mean, every time we go, I guess I'm excited about every single Nosy Neighbors we do. But if you haven't been into Tile Trends, they just opened their own shop in the past 6 months, and it's like Pinterest for tile. You get a walk through there. It is beautiful and soothing and amazing. And then we visited with Senior Solutions, which is an amazing service that's offered here locally that is just all solutions for seniors. They don't know what to do if you have aging parents or something happens. You don't know where to go and what the resources are. They do all that research, and it doesn't cost anybody anything. It's awesome. So really, really amazing Nosy Neighbors. Check out our Nosy Neighbors page and follow that and see some of our amazing local businesses. And we've got coming up here this next month, Eagle Rock Dance, a local dance in inspection, Idaho to lead inspections. Teton Healthy Hub just opened. You see a lot of those posts from our agents on the smoothies and shakes. Aspen Ridge Chiropractic, the Healing Sanctuary, which we're super excited. RV there yet. If you wanted to get away from everyone and really social distance, you can rent an RV, and they do that. Did anyone know that there's a Froyo Bubble Bar in Rigby?
Yes.
Bubble bar?
I did know about that.
Cool
Right?
Bobo? With Bobo?
Bubble Bar. They have like bubble infused waffles and stuff.
Oh, that's not the one I'm thinking. Well, I don't know.
It is.
Maybe I'm not thinking about the same one.
Anyways, super excited. And then Love at First Bite, which is an awesome local bakery and with sweet stuff.
And we're going to be able to go visit them just right before Easter. So a great place to get some fun and different Easter treats.
Yeah. So really fun Nosy Neighbors coming up. Really cool local businesses that we've got. Of course, every time we say. Obviously, I think every one of them are cool
fun.
and super fun. So that's what we've got.
That's awesome.
That's
All
the
right.
stats, Jack.
That's the stats, Jack. On until we'll see you next month when
That's
we
right.
present our March stats.
And let's see how it's going to be exciting to see how things have changed and what's going on in another month.
Yeah, it'll be great to have this month behind us to see where we are. So
It's awesome. Okay.
all right. Thanks, everybody.
And if you're enjoying these smart messages and you have friends or family that you could introduce us to that would enjoy these, that we could help, we would appreciate that. Instead of trying to rely on contacting a human, you can know about the entire transaction from start to finish on day one.
It's 24/7 information.
Everyone's unique, but they have the same concerns because this is the process. So these smart messages, I think, are going to answer people's questions.
So these smart messages are going to be amazing.